Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trader and Plus Citibank earnings, Citigroup, and the PPI report. My name is Lee Goldstein, the trading director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, I am not a financial advisor. All the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so please trade carefully. Okay, so we're back. We already started this morning. We were in the room for JP Morgan and Wells Fargo, lost $8, had two trades. The big issue with Wells Fargo and JP Morgan is they don't release their earnings on time. So it is tricky to figure out really what the best possible setup should be. Um, what we're going to be dealing with Citigroup is number one, they're just not that influential of a company anymore like they used to be years ago. I don't really anticipate much of a movement from their earnings. Why are we here? Because it's a good time to just start getting your feet wet. We have a lot of new people, and had you come earlier, you would have gotten a lot of good education. So I think what I'll do is that trade room after we're done today, maybe I'll put that recording in our in our room drive so people could watch it. There was a good lesson about getting ready for Citigroup because this is a very short trade room for Citigroup. We're really here for PPI. So let me just be straight and to the point. Micros for Citigroup, unless you're super experienced trading earnings. I do anticipate that Citigroup will release their earnings on time, which is 8 o'clock, but I also anticipate that they won't do much to the market. They just as a history haven't been moving the market that much. I thought that I'd give Citigroup one more try, and honestly, it's probably the last time we'll do them. However, it's a perfect setup for our range trade earnings in the morning. So the strategy we're going to use is a range trade. We're going to start the range at 758.59. We're going to end the range at 759.59. So I do anticipate that their earnings will come out at 8 o'clock. I am using micros. It's just not worth risking a lot of money when there's probably not a lot of money for profit. So you don't need to spend a lot of money to learn, and that's what Citibank is more than anything. It'll be a learn. So we'll start our range at 758.59. We'll end the range at 759.59. I'm going to put on position size 1 is a 1, position size 2 is a 1. I'm going to have a target of 6 for target 1, a target of 20 for target 2, a stop of 20, and target 1 stop move, BE minus 2, break even minus 2. 6 ticks above the range, 6 ticks below the range, that's where our orders will go. After the range is defined with a minute of price action, 6 ticks above the high of that range and 6 ticks below the low, our orders will appear. And we will show that range by checking the show range graphics on chart. Apply it and okay it, and you have yourself a range trade. And then when you enable it, it'll start to create a range at the time we told it to. All right, so it's not going to do anything for a little while. Also, make sure that your range trade, click on strategies, highlight the range trade, make sure you choose the account you want to trade in. I'll trade it in my Buell Knox account. All right. And I'll apply that and okay it. And then I make sure that my charts are on the Buell Knox account that I want to trade, and they are. Now I'm going to keep my range enabled because it'll start to draw. What do we say? It's 6, 7, 7. Let's make sure I got the time right. Hold on. This is an 8 o'clock earnings. 8 o'clock earnings, right? Yes, 7:58:59, 7:59:59 is the end of the range. Everything looks good. So we have our range trade set up. Then, because there's always a possibility that
So
the
just a reminder,
earnings
in about 10
won't
minutes'
come
time, we're
out on
expecting
time,
earnings from Citi
and we may
with an
want to
EPS
enter
estimate
the
of
market
$1.39 and a
because
revenue
we
estimate
think
of
we
20
know what
spot
the
$11
direction of the
billion.
market's going to be. That's perfectly okay. So what we can do is use the reversal continuation setup. I'm just getting it so we can see the stock price. So my second setup, I'm going to have two setups. So I'm just going to add another strategy, JOBB 11. This one is going to be a reversal continuation. Time is ignored. All you need, remember, for reversal continuation trades are number of positions. So I'm just going to trade two micros, MYM, 924 is the symbol, 25 tick target, and a 20 tick stop. I'm going to label that REV, REV, and I'm also going to do that in the same account, my Buellnox account. Apply it and OK it. Remember, when you apply a reversal trade, you get buttons, instant long and instant short. We won't use that unless our range trade resolves itself, meaning it's finished. You don't want to trade two setups on the same instrument while both setups are active. You have to trade them separately or in two different accounts. Now, if the news is on time, and Citibank has been on time generally, we have not had a long history with Citi. I keep calling them Citibank. They changed their name years ago. Citigroup. Um, their history is just not a whole heck of a lot of action from their earnings, but they come out on time, so I figured it would be a good lesson right before PPI. So we'll watch the YM. MYM 924 is the instrument that I'm trading. Why? Because I just, trading Citigroup earnings is like a coin toss. We don't know for sure if it's going to move the market. So you don't want to risk a lot of money if you don't have a big anticipation of profit. If you have profit anticipation, that's when you take your risk. At least that's how I do it. So we're going to watch, we're going to wait, we're going to check our time sync. Okay. We're going to check our time sync. By using the pre-trade checklist, and we're going to click www.time. Time.is is all you have to have, really. Time.is, allow it, and it checks your computer to see if your computer is in sync. That's what Time IS does. Okay. That's what Time IS does. So Citibank is going to release their earnings at 8 o'clock. We should see that news come across on this news feed right here on our Thinkorswim charts. And we might see some price action on the stock. Our main setup is a range trade. We're going to start the range at 758.59, 6 ticks above the range, 6 ticks below the range. Show the range graphics on chart. That means show the range that we're drawing. We're going to end the range 759.59, and I'm going to put two positions on. Target 1 is 6, target 2 is 20. Remember, you don't have to use the same targets that I use. You can use 8 and 22. You could use 5 and 18. You don't have to use my exact targets. I don't know exactly how far it's going to move. Targets are generally a range. You know, that's something you really want to think about with targets. You don't need to copy mine. The stop isn't, even the stop on earnings is definitely a range. Okay. The stop is 20 today, and
5 months away from Citi Q2 earnings for
our entry,
2024, EPS
remember, we're
estimate of a
starting at
dollar and 39 cents, and a
7:58:59, the
revenue
range
estimate of
start
20
time,
spot one, 20 spot 11
and we're
billion
ending
dollars.
the range at 7:59:59. That's our main setup. Don't forget to tell it what account you're trading on. Don't forget to label it. Label this the range. Apply it and OK it. It shows up in your control panel. Enable it, and when the time gets to the start time, it'll start calculating the range and drawing it on the chart. I also have a second setup, just a simple reversal continuation. Maybe the earnings will be early, maybe they won't come out, maybe they'll be late, maybe we'll want to enter discretionary. Two positions, a target of 25, a stop of 20, labeled reversal, and I chose my prop account for both of these events. So if I want to enter the market instantly for any reason, I can do that discretionary. I'm trading MYM one, which is the micro. It's 1/10 of the YM. This report is not worth risking $5 a tick on the YM. We're risking 1/10 of that because this is a coin toss trade. The MYM is a micro. Micros are a great way to trade live with very low risk to see if your settings are good, if your setup is viable, or if you want to try something and you don't want to lose a lot of money. So I don't really recommend trading full size contracts on this earnings report because it doesn't have a history of making very much money. Of course, you're free to do whatever you like. So you'll see our range is going to start to draw soon. I do think Citibank's earnings will come out on time. I'm listening to the Squawk Box of Financial Juice. I have a whole bunch of tools. I'm using Thinkorswim charts. Okay. We should see some stock movement from Citibank. Over here, we should see exactly when the earnings get released so that we'll know the price movement that we see is related to the earnings. Now, hang on here. There we go. For some reason, my box wasn't showing, so I just unchecked my trade. Now, my adjust button and my range trade now are showing. When you use the range trade with our current software, it has a new button, range trade now. Range trade now puts the orders on the screen before the range is finished calculating. What if the earnings come out early? You don't want to be sitting and watching your range calculate. So it's a great new feature that makes the range trade able to end the range instantly and put your orders on the chart. You don't have to enter
Surely
the
expecting
trade,
Citi earnings.
but it's nice to put the earnings on the chart. Orders, not earnings. Orders. So you see our range is starting to draw. And now we're going to try
Short
and
overnight financing rate unchanged at 5.34%.
we're paying attention. I'm listening to a squawk box. I'm watching the stock price. I'm looking at the news, got a whole bunch of tools we're using. Don't forget the website, earningswhispers.com. It's a great website to verify what earnings are coming out this morning and all week, next week. So all we're doing is waiting to see if there's going to be enough movement to give us a trade.
Order submitted.
Now my orders are on the chart. Citibank has released their earnings, I believe, because you're getting movement. Let's see. They reported second quarter earnings. You see what I mean about Citibank? This is an inexpensive stock. It's barely it's barely worth taking the risk. That's the truth. It's barely worth the risk.
Still
I
waiting
don't
on Citi earnings.
It's funny, Financial Juice doesn't know they're out.
Order
I
Revenue
know
submitted.
of
they're out.
$1.63
I know
billion,
they're out.
a beat on the estimate
So
of
I'd like it to
$1.55
hit
billion.
my first target. It's
Total
only
lands at
six ticks.
$687.7 billion, a
But what's
beat on the estimate
interesting
of
is the price is going
$650.54 billion.
down.
Wealth revenue $1.81
So I
billion,
don't
a
like
beat on
that.
the estimate of $1.73 billion.
I don't like
Investment
that.
banking revenue
I don't want
$853
to take
million,
a big
a
loss,
miss on the
right?
estimate of
It's only micros.
$870.4
I'm going to
million.
combine my
FICC
orders,
sales and trading rev
combining my orders,
$3.56 billion,
because right
a miss on
now,
the estimate
well,
of
let's be patient for a
$3.61 billion.
second. The stock went down, but the price, it hasn't yet followed. I got filled long because it burst the range. The stock price is
So still waiting
recovering.
on their EPS data to come
So
through.
all the data supposedly is not out yet, but it doesn't look good. It looks like it's to the downside. So what I would do, I'll keep shrinking my stop because it looks like we really are on the wrong side of this trade. I combine my orders, shrink my orders. My stop is very small. So if I get stopped out here, I'll lose about $14. And it's just a little bit of the way it happens. Sometimes you just get filled because there's price movement to the other side. Now, I'm trading micros. I can risk an extra tick to see if it'll recover. Right now, it looks like it's trying to recover. See if we can pull up a
Citi
little bit.
sees year adjusted expenses likely at high end of $53.5 billion to
And just
$53.8
see if
billion.
we can, if the price will recover. The stock has recovered a little bit. See what I'm saying? The stock is recovering, but unfortunately, our entry is kind of high up and it's quiet. It's quiet this time of day. It's pretty quiet. We need a push up. We need a bigger push up. You can put your stop, I can put it. I can't spend too much more time because we want to do PPI also, folks. It's way more important than this. I've got my stop below the candle, right on the wick of the last candle. And I'll only spend another minute or two doing this because, like I said, honestly, PPI is something more important. I'm not going to take a secondary trade, so I'm turning off my reversal. If it just pops up and
So
hits my
Citi's
target,
EPS of $1
I'd be
52
very
cents,
happy.
a beat on the estimate of
Shrinking my
$1.39.
stop, let it pop up two
Order
ticks.
filled.
Okay, took us out. Tiny, uh, made $2. I was down $8 before the trade. We'll talk about Citi another time. You could see very small action on these earnings. Barely, really barely worth trading. That's the truth. But interesting in terms of learning because the way we set it up, many of our morning earnings work this way. Let's talk about why we're really here. So let's get cracking on PPI. I'm going to change my workspace, go to my trade room workspace. I'm closing all my extra workspaces. You don't need more than one workspace open. to trade. Now we've got gold 0824, and we've got PPI. Now keep in mind that margins are raised for this report. This is ultra, ultra high risk. So if you're not experienced, if you don't understand what can happen in an extreme possible volatility, you should not be trading this report. That's the honest truth. It's ultra high risk. If the broker raises the margins, which they've done on this report, then you need to be extremely careful. Understand that you could blow through your stop, you could lose more than you expect. That's what happens with ultra high risk reports. So I'm just giving everyone a heads up. I'm not saying
So
be
Citi shares
afraid. I'm
raising earlier
saying
loss, gaining
be
2% after the
aware.
result.
Okay? Be aware. It's unknown how this can resolve itself. Now, we have basically one setup for this report. We have a trap trade for this report because that's what has worked the best. Last month, the trap trade would have been stopped out. Let me show you the DMM. And this is our DMM. So one problem that many people will have on a trap trade, we're creating in a perfect situation where margins are normal, we're creating two orders above the price, two orders below the price. But the brokers are looking at this as four orders. All right. So the gold margins are up. So in a cash account, you might not have enough money to trade a full size trap trade because it's double the orders of a regular breakout trade. What do we mean by that? Look at what happened last month. You'll see exactly what I mean. Last month we traded the trap. Last month it was on a Thursday. So a trap trade is a trade that we expect price to change direction. That's what we expect. All right. In other words, we expect the news to come out. We expect a burst up or down, and then we expect to make our money when the price changes direction. So with a trap trade, I've got two orders above the orange arrow, which is the current price, two orders below. Now, last month, it just so happened it was a perfect breakout.
So
Well,
you're
let's
looking at
see
the
if it was
Citi earnings
perfect.
with
Let's watch it.
a rev of 20.14 billion, a beat on the estimate of 20.11 billion, and the EPS of
Our honest history on
$1.62,
this
which was also
trade
beat on
is like the
$1.39.
CPI
The
report.
total,
We've
the
gone
banking
through
revenue was
many
$1.63
setups
billion
because
compared to
these
the estimate of
reports
$1.55
have
billion.
been trading very differently over time. They just have not had one set method to trade. And what happened last month is it blew through our orders. If it blows through your orders, that's an enemy of the trap trade. It kept going in one direction and it moved a lot of ticks. Our trap trade has 70 ticks plus our stop, 92 ticks of safety. That was a very big move. Okay. We have one setup that we recommend for this trade, Ravi. That's it. That's what we recommend. We don't really care for the other setups. There's too much whipping. Everything's going to move, but Our recommended setup would be the trap trade. That's our recommended setup. So it doesn't mean that you're not going to get, if I were absolutely insistent upon taking a breakout, because what happens is sometimes there's a perfect storm, a perfect breakout. I would trade bonds. If there's a perfect breakout month, bonds almost always have a good breakout. So what would I do setup wise? 8, 29, 59
Dollar yen turns negative down
on my
0.1%.
on my activation. I would use an 8 bracket. Okay. I would trade ZF to keep the risk low. And my first target would be 6 ticks. My second target would be, let's say, 15 to 20 ticks. My stop would be 12 ticks. If my first target gets hit, I'd use target one stop move and make it break even -2. So I would trigger my bonds at 829.59 with a bracket of 8, a target of 6 and 15. It could be anywhere between 6 and 20, I think is fine. Okay. And if you're absolutely insisting on a breakout, I think bonds, if breakouts are going to work, you're going to get gold to work, bonds will work, ES will work, NQ will work. But bonds tend to have a lot more liquidity than any other setup, any other instrument. And again, you're dealing with margin. The margins are expensive on the NQ and on gold and on the indexes, but on bonds, they're not that bad. So I'm even thinking maybe I'll trade it in my Buell Knox account. It's high risk, the breakout. That's the truth. I'm debating where I'm going to trade. But anyway, that's the bond setup. Okay. That's the bond setup. Let's apply it. We'll save the template so we can pull it back up easily. PPI, bonds, today's date. And the one thing, make sure whatever account you're trading it in, put your account on that data. Okay. Put your account on that data and put your chart on that data. All right. Right now I have bonds on SIM and we said ZF to reduce risk. ZF 0924. Arthur, unfortunately, I can't really tech support in this trade room. Please send me an email. Bonds, the setup, as long as your time. One thing we can check is the size of our bracket. I'm going to set up the trap trade, so just watch it carefully. Arthur, when I set it up, I want to check my bracket width for trade management, so I'm setting my time to 0. There are 3 major bond instruments that are tradable: ZB, ZF, and ZN. Ravi, they're all pretty interchangeable on major reports. The big difference is the price per tick. ZF is, I think it's 7.25, if I remember correctly, 15 on ZN, and 31.25 dollars on ZB. Liquidity is very good on ZF,
Order
and
submitted.
ZN very mediocre on ZB. So I'm just checking so I can manage this trade
Order canceled.
if I want to. And that's my bond setup. I'm going to put my time back to 8:29:59. Targets of 6:15. I've gone through it plenty. There's my bonds. That trade is ready. If I want to trade in my Buell Knox, I'll change it. Now, the trap, definitely a high risk trade because what you're looking at is the possibility that it could blow through the trap. If the news is great, it absolutely could blow through the trap. But more often than not, it's been a manageable trap trade month after month. We've had a lot of trap trades with this report. So let's set it up. Now, if you don't have very much money in your cash account, you can't trade a trap trade with all the orders. You can trade just the outer orders. That would cut your margin requirements in half. Okay. It's really up to each individual trader to know and understand what your margin requirements are. Okay. I can't tell every trader whether or not you have enough money in your account to take a trade. I can only tell you what the margin exposure is going to be based on the number of orders we're putting on. But it's up to you to make sure that you're aware that margin can be an issue. You have to have enough money to cover your trades, or the broker won't allow you to trade, or they'll turn off a trade in the middle if you reach your margin, and that they'll charge you for. So a trap trade is what I'm choosing on PPI. The trap trade brings up a very simple setup. Position size 1 is a 1, position size 2 is a 1. The stop really is going to be 25. 25 on the stop. Tier 1 is going to be 53 ticks. Tier 2 is going to be 70 ticks. If you're using the new software, the time of activation is going to be 8, 29, 55. If you're using version 10, your time of activation, time of the event is 8:30, and your prep seconds is 5. Okay? Prep seconds 5, time of activation, time of event 8:30. New software, we're putting the exact time we put our orders on the chart now, 8:29:55. If you want to just reduce risk and or if you don't have a lot of money in your cash account, just trade the outer tier. So you would do position size 1, stop 25, tier 1, 70. Everything else is the same. I'm going to label the trade, trap GC, and I think I'm going to trade it in my Buell Knox account. This is a high risk event. Even me, even us, we want to maintain the money in our account. And the best way to do that is to trade the best reports, the reports that have been giving us the best profit. PPI does not fall under that category right now. It definitely has the opportunity to give you amazing profits. It does. It also has the opportunity to do a whipsaw that's so crazy your hair will fall out, right? So you got to keep that in mind. This is not the report that your grandmother wants to trade. It just isn't. It's high risk. And the broker's telling you that. They're raising the margins. They're making you have more money to trade. They really don't want you to trade. So, but I like the trap trade. I don't mind trading it. That's the setup. I'll go through it one more time. Turn on the trap trade, click on trap trade. Position size 1 is a 1, position size 2 is a 1. That means tier 1 has 1 position, tier 2 has 1 position. Everything else is a default till you get to stop loss 25 ticks. Tier 1 is 53 ticks.
JP Morgan
Price has
CFO
to
says
move
the economy
53
seems to
ticks.
be on a trend
Tier
for a
2 is
soft landing.
70. Time of activation is 8/29/55 for the new software. If you're using version 10, the time of the event is 8:30 and your prep seconds is 5. I'm labeling trap GC. I'm trading it in my Bullnox. Apply it and OK it. There's no margin issues in prop accounts because prop accounts are fake. They're entertainment and fun and a way to trade other people's money if you get really good at it. So they're fake, they're real, they're whatever you use it as.
At
They're
8:30
educational.
a.m. Eastern
They're
Time, we
great.
get US PPI
Absolutely
year on
love
year
them. When
forecast
you
2 spot
enable
3%
a
on the prior
trap
2
trade,
spot 2% with a range of 2 spot
the
4 to
buttons you get on the
2%.
top of the
PPI
taskbar,
month over month forecast
BE, it's
0 spot
break even.
1% on the prior minus
You
0
can move
spot
your stop to
2%
break even by
with a range of
pressing the
0
break
spot
even button.
2% to minus 0 spot
Close the
2%.
trade
Core
button.
PPI year on year
If
forecast
you
2
don't want to
spot
get
5%
filled
on
and
the
your
prior
orders
2
are on
spot
the chart,
3%
you
with
can
a range
close
of
the
2 spot
trade.
6%
We
to 2
don't
spot
currently use
2%. Core
adjust.
PPI month over month
Cancel the
forecast
outer
0 spot
tier and
2% on
combine.
the prior
If
0%
we get a
with a range of 0
situation
spot
where
3 to
only
0%.
one
And
bracket,
Canadian
only
building
one
permits
tier
month over month
gets filled,
forecast
we
minus
may
5
want to
spot
cancel
2%
the
on the
other
prior
order
20 spot
so that we can
5%.
move our stop and our targets without the other order being in the way. And I'll speak and I'll talk through the trap trade because that's what I'm going to manage. The bond trade will manage itself. It's in sim, okay? We're just looking to see if bonds work this month. That's all. I've explained the risk. Everybody should be very clear on what the risk is. Let's check our time sync, okay? Let's check our time sync. You can check your time sync by, bear with me, I'm distracted by something. I bought this new computer and it's so broken and I'm so angry about it. It just enrages me. Um, Pre-trade checklist. Click on the time.is link, allow it. It'll go to the website time is, okay? And it'll check if your computer is in sync or not. That's what the pre-trade checklist is really helpful for. And if you're a beginner, if you're a beginner, um, I'm laughing. I'll tell you why I'm laughing. If you're a beginner, you can go through the pre-trade checklist, then you should, and it helps you set your trade up. So please go through it. There's a brand new news story. Once again, AT&T has not protected your data and you've been exposed to hackers. Every customer, hackers access their call and text records of nearly all of its cellular customers. AT&T, that I'm not going to say, this is my opinion, they should not be allowed to operate as a company. They cannot keep your data safe. They're despicable. They do this over and over and over. Unbelievable. AT&T hackers access call and text records, all of your records. I wouldn't give them my money if they were the only cell company. I would use a can and a string to talk to people. The pre-trade checklist. Check you're trading the right symbol. Gold, 0824 is your chart on the time frame you want to be trading on. Right now I'm on the 1 minute. I really like the 30-second, but I'm going to leave it for now. Check margins, right? Trade type. Is it a breakout? Is it a trap? Check your time. 8:30 for version 10, 5-second prep. 829.55 for version 11. Okay, if it's a breakout trade, check your bracket. Are you live? Are you sim? Make sure you're on the right account. Uncheck your account warnings if you're using version 10. Uncheck your account warnings. We took that out of version 11 so you don't have a problem with trading. Input series. There is a field, an input field that says input series. It should be the same instrument as your chart. Label your trade. Okay. Are you live? Are you sim? Okay, good to check that. And when you're done, enable the trade in the control panel up here. Okay. The pre-trade checklist is fantastic. It's fantastic. If you can't see the combine button on your trap trade chart, your chart is not wide enough and you must make it wider. Okay? As long as you can
At
see the
8:30 a.m.
combine
Eastern
button,
Time, we get US
you
PPI
can
year on
see
year
everything
forecast
you
2
need
spot
to
3%
see
on the
to
prior 2 spot
trade the trap.
2% with a range of 2 spot 4% to
What I'm
2%.
expecting
PPI month over month
on the
forecast
trap
0
trade
spot
is I'm
1% on the prior
expecting
minus
price
0
to
spot
go up
2% with a range of
big
0
or
spot
down
2% to
big,
minus 0
and
spot
I'm going to get
2%.
filled,
Core PPI
and
year
I'm
on
going to
year
make my
forecast 2
money
spot
when it
5%
changes
on the prior
direction.
2 spot 3% with a
That's
range
what
of
I'm
2 spot
expecting
6%
on the
to
trap
2
trade.
spot 2%. And US core PPI
Let's
month over
see.
month
We'll look at one more
forecast
video.
0
We
spot
looked at one
2% on the
already.
prior 0% with a range of
What
0 spot
happened in
3%
May?
to 0%. And Canadian
We
building
had the
permits
trap
month over
trade
month
set up
forecast minus
same
5
as
spot
today.
2% on the prior 20 spot 5%.
Same as today. Was watching the ES breakout. We have not loved the ES breakout. That's the reality, folks. That's why it's not on the DMM. We have not loved the breakouts. They can whip. This is a risky report. I don't know how many times I have to say it. I don't know why I'm yelling at anybody. It's a risky report, so please trade it as if you don't know what's going to happen and the unexpected could happen. See how we got filled and the price has reversed and I've got a profit on the board. So I'm going to manage my orders to try and catch more of a reversal. And I have a stop. It filled my first order. I'm going to move my stop to safety. And now if it keeps reversing, I'm going to keep making money. The ES breakout, it kind of looks like it worked last month. You can get breakouts working. You understand that just because we choose a trap doesn't mean it's the only thing that is available. Experienced traders, you might have your own setups, but we do a lot of testing. Honest, we really test this stuff. The ES was very fast, but it moved very far. I think it was a very possible nice winner. Now, I'm very surprised there's nobody on YouTube this morning, and I know I sent the email, and there's a lot of people in the room. I don't know if extra people are in the room from YouTube, but anyway, if you're on YouTube, thank you for being here. I could see there's a few of you out there. And folks in the room, I posted our registration for tomorrow. Please register for our Traders Corner webinar if you'd be kind enough. Don't do it now. Don't pay attention to it now after the trade. But we need you to register and come. 11:15. I'll be performing. I'll be dancing on the top of a trading desk. All right, we've got a minute and a half. So remember, our enemy, and it could blow up my account. It probably wouldn't, but it could. Our enemy is a move in one direction only. That's the enemy of a trap trade. It's the best friend of a breakout, right? It's the best friend of a range trade. This trade has a
1
history
minute remaining. I'll
of
lead with US
reversing on
PPI year
gold.
on year.
What's working against us is the news could be really good because yesterday's CPI was good. There's every reason to think that there's not every reason to think that PPI will automatically be good. This is different data. Producer price index. Okay. I don't know that companies are bringing their prices down. So this could be not as good as the news yesterday. Let's see. But it's important also. It's important. So we need a 55 tick, 53 tick move to get filled. You'll see our orders are going to show up. If you can't see your
10
orders, it's
seconds.
probably because your chart's too wide. Shrink it.
Order submitted.
Shrinking it, see? Now the news is going to come
Order
out in a
submitted.
couple of seconds.
Order canceled.
News
2
came
spot
out. I'm
6%, 2
very
spot
worried
6%,
about
higher
this
than
move.
forecast, 2 spot 3%. PPI month over month, 0 spot 2%, 0 spot
Putting my
2%, higher
targets
than
in a
forecast,
place
0 spot
where
1%.
if we
Core
get our
PPI year on year,
reversal,
3%,
Order filled.
bingo,
4%, higher than
stop to
forecast, 2 spot
safety,
5%. Core PPI month
increase
over
my
month,
target.
0
No
spot
matter what
Order
4%,
happens
0
canceled.
spot
now,
4%,
I
higher than
made
forecast, 0 spot 2%. Canadian
$220,
building permits month over month, minus 12 spot 2%, minus
$220.
12 spot 2%,
What
lower than
worked
forecast,
against
minus
the
5 spot
trap, but it
2%.
still
Seeing
worked,
some upside in the dollar,
was
downside in stocks.
all the news was good. It was bad news, my friends. Bad news. Producer prices very high.
So PPI month
Bad,
over month,
bad
prior
news.
revised
Unless I'm
0%, and
crazy.
core month over month, prior
Great
revised
move on bonds.
0.3%.
I'm guessing anybody that traded a breakout had a good breakout. Let's see if I'm right. ES. Anybody, what'd you do out there? Type in what you did. Were you able to take the trap fast enough? Could you get yourself out? Did you do it live or did you do it sim? Look at that
Treasury yields
ES
rise after June
reversal.
PPI rises
Look
more
at
than
the
expected.
reversal. Wow. That's trap trade action, but it's such a big move that's blow through your tiers. Blow through your tiers action. Calvin loves that NQ on news. He will never listen to a word I say. He's a lot smarter than me. He's an airline pilot. Frankly, I would fire him. I don't trust him. But he trades that NQ all the time. Ravi always loves that breakout. Ravi took my bond trade. The bond trade worked. Very good. Positive slippage for Fred on the NQ breakout. Fred, nice to see you in the room. I know, Ravi, you love the breakouts. I swear that's why I came up with the bond for you and for the people. I know there's a few folks that they just won't trade a trap, even though month after month it works. You just don't want
We
to be
have
afraid
posted
of
the US
it.
PPI June report on the feed for all those
Now, I had to
interested.
be quick with it today. And the reason, if you understand why this particular news was difficult for the trap, it's because the news was all in one direction. Watch, all in one direction. No doubt about the direction of this particular news. That's bad for a trap. We want matching news. We want as expected. We don't want way higher producer prices than expected. Okay. And it wasn't way higher. It's zero point 0.2 versus 0.1, but the month over month was pretty lousy. The year over year was not good. Okay. Canada building permits were horrific, but you know, Canada is Canada. What can I say? Um, Greg made money on ZN. So look, I'm always going to try to recommend a breakout, even if we have a trap only on the DMM. And that's a bonus for being a full member and coming into the trade room. That's the bonuses you get by being a trade room member. You're getting more than if you just subscribe to DMMs. DMMs, you had to
US
do the
Treasury
trap and
2-year
you had to
yield
do it
gains 1
fast.
spot 8 basis points to 4 spot
Anybody else
525%
trade?
after US
I
data.
know I scared everyone out of this trade. It wasn't my goal to scare everyone out of the trade, but it was my goal to make sure that if you traded, you knew that there was a lot of risk. That was my goal. Let's look at the video. And what I'm going to do, I think the news is lousy. That's what it looks like to me. So I said I was really enraged about my computer. It's got something loose that's rattling nonstop. And I used to build PCs. I can't figure out what's rattling. And it's so heavy, I can't lift it. Ever since I got hit by the car riding my motor scooter, I can't really lift stuff right now. So I can't ship it back to them easily. I'm just really angry. It's a brand new computer and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I'm just really ticked off. Let's look at the news, the results here. PPI 7/12/24. And we're still not done this morning. We have a 9:30 event. Revised University of Michigan. Do you have that Geekom i9, Calvin? I have a mini PC. I don't like that's a really nice mini PC. That's a nice, I recommended that Roz buy one of those, and she's trading on it. You can trade with that. It's way fast enough to trade. I'm just looking at the reversal here. It's 5 minutes later. 2396.90.
And the US Treasury 2-year 10-year curve
2396.90. Remember that number.
little changed after PPI data.
Here's the
Last at
video.
minus 29.6 basis points.
2396.90. And that Geekom is cheap too. They're inexpensive. So here's the trap. We know the bonds were great. So look, we got a quick reversal on this trade. What you have to try to do on a trap is look at the news. Is it conducive to a reversal, or is it maybe trouble for the first minute or so? All the news agreeing is trouble, okay? Can be trouble. Trouble, as RoboCop says. Here comes the news. So what happened was price shoots down, a real nice gold breakout. I'm not going to shy away from the truth. Both are tiers filled. You bring your orders down because they're the opposite side of the trap. They're too far away. Hits my first order. Bring your stop to safety if you want to.
So the PBOC may
I
mull
don't
using
think it
overnight
got to
repurchase rate as a target, according
2396.90.
to news.
If you stayed in, what was our stop? 2399.50. 2399.50. So it would have stopped us out. It would have stopped us out. You couldn't stay in and catch this reversal. You had to trade it the way I traded it. It will be fast, Fred. You should wait for Prime Day next week. It might go on sale. Next week is Amazon Prime Day. I'm ordering. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm so unhappy with my trading computer. So we made 220 on the trap. All right, we made money on the trap. Does everybody understand? Let me show you the results of the trap one more time because we love trap trades. We love reversals. Trading the news is not just breakouts. It truly isn't. So watch again. Trading gold, you could have had a whip on the bonds and it would have been a better trap. We want a whip on a trap trade. I pray for whips. A trap trade is a dominatrix trade. That's how you look at it. A big move down, but a nice quick reversal. Bring your target down. Get some profit. Get some profit. Bingo. Move your stop. Maybe I was too aggressive on the stop. Should have kept it a little bit. You know what? Today, all the news was good. Move your stop to safety. Let it stop you out. Make your 200. Go on to the next thing. That's how you have to look at today's trap. You're not going to cry in a corner because you would have gotten stopped out if you didn't take your profit. Okay? That's what you got to do with a trap. You can also trade a breakout if you want. If it's a good day for a breakout, bonds are a good choice. Bonds are a good choice. All right. David, I'm really sorry that you weren't fast enough. You had to be pretty quick. But this is why you have to practice some of this stuff. Let me end our stream. I want to thank everyone on YouTube. We're going to end our stream. Hang on. I love Micro Center. One of the traders on YouTube is saying he goes to the Micro Center warehouse. I've never seen a Micro Center warehouse. So Trader J, where do you live? And where is the Micro Center warehouse? I didn't even know they had one. I have a Micro Center near me. It's the best computer store in the country. Highly recommend, and I'm not being supported by them. Highly recommend if you have a Micro Center near you that's where you buy your stuff. So Trader J, if you're still there, where do you live and where is their warehouse? The thing about micro centers, they don't do mail order very well. You can't do a lot of mail order with them. David, we tried to automatically move the trap targets. We're going to try again. We're going to try again so that at least it moves them closer. But that was reasonably quick. You had to be reasonably quick. And if you look at the news, it was because all the news was in one direction. Okay. Minnesota. Isn't Minnesota their home state? I think Minnesota is their home state. Trader J, thanks for the news. Really appreciate it. Everybody, YouTube, thanks so much. Hit the like button. We stream almost every day on YouTube, so join us, and I'll see you next time on our YouTube stream.